The moon hung low over Blackthorn territory, casting silver light through the tall pines. Ivy Sable walked along the edge of the training grounds with her head down, carrying a basket of soiled linens toward the wash-house. No one greeted her. No one ever did. In the Blackthorn pack, Omegas were the lowest of the low, and Ivy had learned long ago that the safest thing to do was stay quiet and stay small. She had been born an Omega, and nothing she did could change that. It did not matter that she worked harder than anyone else, or that she never complained when she was blamed for mistakes that were not hers. And the pack saw her rank before they saw her face. To them, she was simply the girl who did not matter. Only in the healing garden behind the old stone wall did Ivy feel like herself. It was there, among the herbs and quiet animals, that she had discovered her gift. She could calm a frightened creature with nothing more than her voice and her hands. She could sense pain before it showed itself, and somehow, when she sat beside something wounded, it seemed to heal faster than it should. She had never told anyone about this. Who would believe an Omega had a gift worth noticing? That night, after her chores were finished, Ivy took her usual path home through the edge of the forest. The trees were thick and silent, and the cold air smelled of pine and damp earth. She was almost past the clearing when she heard it, a small, ragged sound, like a whimper caught halfway between breath and cry. She followed the sound without thinking, pushing through the undergrowth until she found him. A small pup, no older than 5 in human years, lay curled beneath a fallen log, shivering and pale. His breathing was shallow, and his skin had a strange grayish tint that Ivy had never seen before. She recognized him instantly. This was Kai, the son of Damian Cross, the Alpha King himself. Ivy's heart pounded. She knew the guards would be searching for him soon, but she also knew that soon might not be soon enough. Kai's condition looked serious, worse than anything a simple chill could cause. Without hesitation, she knelt beside him and gathered him gently into her arms. "You are safe now," she whispered, though she was not entirely sure that was true. She pressed her palm lightly against his chest and closed her eyes, letting her senses reach into him the way she always did with wounded animals. She felt the sickness moving through him like a slow, cold tide, sapping his strength. She did not understand it, but she knew she had to fight it back, even a little, even for a moment. She began to hum, a low and steady sound, and rubbed slow circles against his back. She remembered the herbs she carried in her healing pouch, crushed mint leaves and a pinch of dried chamomile, and mixed them with a few drops of water from her flask. She coaxed the mixture gently between his lips, whispering softly the entire time. Minutes passed. Kai's shivering slowed. His breathing steadied, growing deeper and less strained. Color began to return to his cheeks, faint but real. Ivy held him close, relief flooding through her, though she knew this was not a cure. Whatever illness gripped him ran deeper than herbs could fix. But for now, he was stable. For now, he would live to see the morning. She heard voices calling his name in the distance, torches flickering between the trees. Ivy knew what would happen if she was found here, holding the Alpha's son in the middle of the night. An Omega, alone with the future heir. No one would believe her intentions were good. So she laid Kai gently against the log, tucked her own shawl around his small body for warmth, and slipped away into the shadows just as the search party broke through the clearing. She did not wait to see what happened next. She simply walked home, her hands trembling, her heart full of something she could not name. The following morning, the pack buzzed with news. The Alpha's son had been found in the forest, alive, though the healers could not explain his sudden stability. He had been fading for weeks, they said, cursed with an illness no remedy could touch. Yet somehow, that night, he had improved. Whispers spread through the pack like wildfire, but no one suspected the quiet Omega girl who scrubbed floors and carried linens without complaint. Damian Cross, the Alpha King, sat beside his son's bed for 3 days without rest. He was a man built for strength, feared across every neighboring territory, yet in that small room, watching his only child struggle to breathe, he had never felt more powerless. His mate had died giving birth to Kai, and in the years since, the boy had become the single reason Damian still allowed himself to feel anything at all. When Kai's fever broke and his eyes opened bright and alert, Damien felt something inside his chest crack open with relief. But the mystery gnawed at him. Someone had helped his son that night in the forest. Someone had known exactly what to do, and yet no one stepped forward to claim it. He questioned his guards, he questioned the healers, he even questioned Celine, the pack's sharp-tongued beta female, who had long made her interest in becoming his mate clear. Celine, quick to protect her own image, suggested it must have been one of the healers who panicked and fled, rather than take responsibility. Damien was not convinced, but with no evidence, the matter was set aside, though it never left his mind. Weeks passed. Kai seemed to recover, laughing and playing in the training yard as any pup should. But then, one evening, the sickness returned, sudden and cruel. His small body grew weak again, his skin pale, his breathing labored. The healers worked through the night with tinctures and chants, but nothing seemed to help. Damien paced outside his son's door, fear gripping him tighter than it ever had. Late that night, when the healers had finally stepped away to rest, Ivy could not stay away. She had heard the news from the kitchen staff, how the young pup had fallen ill again, how nothing seemed to work. Something inside her refused to sit still while a child suffered, even a child she had no right to approach. She slipped through the servants' passage and into the healing wing, moving carefully past the guards who paid her no attention. An Omega carrying cloths and water was invisible to them, as she always was. She found Kai's room and entered quietly, her heart hammering in her chest. The pup lay small and still on the bed, his breathing shallow just as it had been in the forest. Ivy moved to his side without hesitation, taking his tiny hand in hers. "I am here," she whispered. "You are not alone." She repeated what she had done before, humming softly, pressing gentle warmth into his cold hands, guiding calming herbs between his lips. She focused everything she had into easing his pain, into pulling him back from wherever the illness was dragging him. She did not hear the door open behind her. Damien stood frozen in the doorway, his sharp eyes taking in the scene before him. He had expected, if anyone, to find an intruder, perhaps even an enemy sent to finish what the illness could not. Instead, he found the quiet Omega girl from the wash house, her hands cradling his son's face, her voice soft and steady, her entire body focused only on Kai's comfort. "What are you doing?" Damien's voice was low, dangerous, though confusion colored it more than anger. Ivy startled, nearly dropping the small cup of herbal water in her hands. She turned to face him, and for a moment, fear rooted her to the spot. This was the Alpha King. One word from him could end her life. But beneath the fear was something steadier, something that refused to let her run. "I was helping him," she said quietly. "He was struggling to breathe. I only wanted to ease it." Damien stepped closer, his gaze moving from Ivy to his son, whose breathing had noticeably calmed since he'd entered the room. "This is not the first time, is it?" Ivy hesitated, then shook her head. "No, I found him in the forest. That night he went missing. I helped him then too. I did not think anyone would believe me, so I left before your guards arrived." The room fell silent except for Kai's steady breathing. Damien studied her carefully, searching for deceit, for some hidden motive, but he found none. Only exhaustion and honesty, and something achingly gentle in the way she still held his son's hand even now, even with the Alpha King staring her down. "Why?" he finally asked. "Why would you risk everything for a pup that is not yours to protect?" Ivy looked down at Kai's small face, peaceful now, his color slowly returning. "Because he was suffering," she said simply, "and I could not simply walk away and pretend I did not notice." Damien felt something shift inside him, something he had not expected. He had spent years believing strength alone kept his pack safe, that rank and power were the only things that mattered. Yet here was an Omega, someone his entire pack dismissed as worthless, who had twice saved his son's life while asking for nothing in return. He called for the healers immediately, demanding they observe what Ivy had done, demanding to understand the herbs and methods she used. The healers, humbled and confused, admitted they had never considered such simple remedies, focused instead on complicated spells that had done little good. Over the following days, Damien insisted Ivy remain close to Kai, working alongside the healers to continue his treatment. Slowly, steadily, the pup's strength returned, stronger and more lasting than before. Whatever illness had gripped him began to fade beneath Ivy's patient care. As word spread through the pack of what Ivy had done, whispers of shock and disbelief followed her wherever she went. The girl they had mocked, blamed, and pushed aside had been quietly saving their future alpha all along. Celine, furious at the sudden shift in attention, tried once more to discredit Ivy, spreading rumors that she had somehow caused the illness herself to gain favor. But Damien, no longer willing to ignore the truth in front of him, put an end to the lies swiftly and firmly. He called the pack together in the central hall, standing tall before them with Kai, healthy and smiling, at his side. He spoke of how close he had come to losing his son, and how the one person capable of saving him had been the very person the pack had treated with the least respect and kindness. "Rank does not measure a person's worth," Damien said, his voice carrying across the silent hall. "This woman has saved my son's life not once, but twice, while receiving nothing but cruelty in return. That ends today." He turned to Ivy, who stood quietly at the edge of the room, unused to so many eyes upon her. "From this day forward, Ivy Sable will be recognized as the personal healer to my son, and she will be treated with the respect that title deserves." The whole remained silent, stunned by the sudden reversal of everything they had believed about rank and worth. Slowly, one by one, pack members began to bow their heads toward Ivy, a gesture she had never once received in her life. In the weeks that followed, Ivy's life changed in ways she could never have imagined. She was given proper quarters near the healing wing, freed from the endless chores that had once filled her days. She spent her time caring for Kai, watching him grow stronger and happier with each passing day, his laughter filling the halls that had once felt so cold and distant to her. Damien found himself seeking her out more often than his duties required, drawn to her quiet strength and the gentle way she carried herself, despite everything the pack had put her through. Conversations that began about Kai's health slowly grew into something more, quiet moments shared over tea, comfortable silences that needed no words at all. Celine's influence within the pack faded as her lies were exposed, while Ivy's quiet kindness earned her a respect she had never sought but had always deserved. One evening, as the sun set over Blackthorn territory, Damien found Ivy in the healing garden, tending to the herbs she loved so much. He watched her for a moment before speaking. "You never asked for any of this," he said softly. "Not the title, not the respect. You simply wanted to help." Ivy looked up at him, a small smile touching her lips. "I only wanted him to be safe. Everything else came after." Damien stepped closer, something warm and unfamiliar settling in his chest. "The pack was wrong about you. I was wrong about you. I see that now." Ivy said nothing, but the warmth in her eyes told him everything he needed to know. For the first time since his mate's passing, Damien felt something like hope stirring within him, gentle and quiet, much like the woman standing before him. Kai's laughter echoed from somewhere within the pack halls, bright and full of life, a sound that had once seemed impossible. And as Damien watched Ivy smile at the sound, he understood that the pack's greatest strength had never been in bloodlines or rank at all. It had been standing quietly among them all along, waiting only to be seen.